Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Going the Distance. This is episode 49. Can you believe we've done 49 episodes? I can't. But I want to welcome the new members who are just joining us for the first time, and I want to welcome back the members who've been joining me from the beginning. So before we get started, I'd really appreciate it if you liked this video, subscribed to the channel, and commented on everything. And hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode when I post a video. But we're going to jump into it. We've got some football news. I know I did a few football shorts, so I don't have a whole lot of news this week. But I've got a few bullet points for the NFL, and I've got a college football news. We're going to get into the NFL scores from last week. We're going to do the predictions for the coming week, and for the last time, we're going to cover the NASCAR championship race, and then we got some music news. So let's jump into it. So first and foremost, this is somebody we haven't talked about before, but he's a former NFL coach. He's a former Jacksonville Jaguars head coach and Oakland Raiders head coach, Jack Del Rio. He was a special assistant for Wisconsin after he was let go from actually the Redskins. When Ron Rivera left, Jack Del Rio left and went to Wisconsin as a special advisor. Well, over the week on Monday, he was arrested for operating a vehicle while intoxicated. He got into a one-car accident and walked away from the scene. So Jack is leaving the Wisconsin football staff after this arrest, and the head coach is okay with it. It was Jack's decision. So, I liked Jack when he was with the Jaguars. He had David Garrard. He had some good players under him in Jacksonville, and then he still had some good players with him when he was with the Raiders. And then when he was a coordinator for the Redskins under Ron Rivera, he was still good. So I guess what I'm saying is I followed his career. And then, he went to Wisconsin. I kind of forgot that he went there until Monday when the news broke that he was leaving Wisconsin. So where does Jack land after this arrest? Now, this isn't the first time he's been arrested for alcohol-related incidents. So does his football career just end here? His coaching career just end here, or does he get an opportunity somewhere else as a offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator? Is he an option for a head coach again? I don't know. We'll see. But I'll be keeping tabs on that. Moving on, I believe it was last week we talked about Dak Prescott having a hamstring injury, and I said he was going to be placed on IR, which means he would be out for at least 4 weeks. Well, it has come to light that Dak is done for the season. He's going to go have hamstring surgery. So his season with Dallas is done. He got that huge contract, and he gets injured this season, and he's done. So the other two quarterbacks they have on that roster are Cooper Rush, who did really good for Dak in the past when Dak was hurt, and Trey Lance, who Dallas traded with the 49ers with. So Dallas' season's done. They're not making it to the playoffs this year. There's just too many missing parts to this whole scheme. Dak getting on his game. CeeDee Lamb wasn't doing what he should, wasn't on his game. It's just a disaster in Dallas this year. So, I'm going to keep you guys updated on Dak's progress. And when he has surgery, he opted. He said he didn't want to have surgery, but he has to have surgery. So I'll let you guys know how his progress does. And I will, keep up with that story. So moving on, I know we hadn't talked much about him either, but Adam Thielen, who's a player for the Carolina Panthers, former player for Minnesota, is returning to Carolina after the Week 11 bye from a hamstring injury. Now, fantasy football players, this is good to have. He's good to have in there because he can do big. He can make the big plays when needed. Now, I don't know how he's going to be the first few weeks coming off this hamstring injury, because for me, I've had people in my fantasy league who I've started after they've come back, like the first week they come back from injury, and they're never as good as that first week as they will be the second week. So if I were you, if I've got Adam Thielen in my fantasy league, I would keep him benched this week and then start him next, or after I'd bench him in week 12 and then in week 13 start him again, because he needs to get that momentum back, and he can't. That first week isn't always the best week. So I'm glad to see Adam back. Maybe Carolina can get that spark again. Because, even though they weren't, even though they've only won 2 games this year, or 3 games, 2 or 3 games this year, I can't remember. He brings that power back to Carolina. So I know that wasn't a lot of NFL news, but I did some shorts in the week, throughout the week, about some football news. So go check those out if you hadn't already. And we're going to move into the Week 10 scores. And y'all, we had some good ones this week. Like the Ravens-Bengals. And that's always a good rivalry going into, that's always a game to circle on your calendar. Because those two teams really do good work, or do have good games. But in the end, this year, the Ravens beat the Bengals both times they played, and the second time was Thursday night. Ravens defeated the Bengals 35-34, and if y'all remember, Joe Burrow said he needed to, the Bengals needed to win 7 of 9 games. We talked about that last week. They needed to win 7, or the week before. They needed to win 7 of 9 games to make it to the playoffs. Well, they've lost more. They've lost a few weeks in a row now. Or not just they've lost a few weeks. So they, to me, they're out of the playoff playoff contention, barring a miracle. And I would love to see Cincinnati in the playoffs, because Joe Burrow's fun to watch. And it'd be great to see Baltimore, Cincinnati Part 2. And it would also be good to see Cincinnati, Kansas City, and see Cincinnati beat Kansas City in the playoffs to send them home. How great would that be? But moving on Sunday, we had an overseas game between the Panthers and the Giants, and it was over in Germany, Munich, Germany. So at the end of the day, the Panthers defeated the Giants 20-17 in overtime. Now, this was an interesting game because, the score was 20-17 in overtime, but the Giants fumbled the ball, which put Carolina in perfect field position. So instead of Carolina doing first down, or 1, 2, 3 downs and then kick the field goal, after the Tracy fumble, Carolina gets the ball, kicks the field goal right away. I don't know why I stuttered there, but they kick it right, the field goal right away, win the game 20-17. So congratulations, Carolina. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see you win. even though you did have to leave the country for a win, but, it's still a win. So congratulations. The Patriots defeated the Bears 19-3 at Soldier Field. Now, this was fitting, in my opinion, because with it being Veterans Day weekend, the Patriots at Soldier Field in Chicago win. I mean, it's only right. Think about it. The Patriots at Soldier Field on Veterans Day weekend. It's only right. That final score was 19-3. The Bills defeated the Colts 30-20, which I'm not surprised about. I mean, in my opinion, the Bills are good enough to go to the Super Bowl this year. It might even be, if everything goes like I think it will or should, it might be Detroit and Buffalo in the Super Bowl, because Buffalo is just absolutely phenomenal this year. The Lions are absolutely phenomenal this year, and I've got the Lions score coming up, and that was a wild one. But anyway, the Bills defeated the Colts 30-20. The 49ers defeated the Buccaneers 23-20 in Christian McCaffrey's return to the Niners. And that was a good one. That was a back and forth game. I read about, because I was working this weekend. Or last weekend. But McCaffrey did good. And it was so funny because I made the comment earlier in the week. I said, when I made the short about McCaffrey coming back, I did that for all the fantasy players out there, or for all the fantasy owners out there, like myself. Even though I don't have McCaffrey in my fantasy league, the person that I went up against had McCaffrey in his league. And he did good. I mean, McCaffrey did what he had to do. And that Achilles injury didn't hamper. I mean, it might have slowed him a little bit, but it wasn't enough to, show much of a slowdown. Anyway, the Vikings defeated the Jaguars 12-7, which I'm not surprised. We're talking about the Jaguars, and this is Mac Jones was starting in that game because Trevor Lawrence has a shoulder injury and may require surgery. So Mac Jones might be the starter for the rest of the season if Trevor Lawrence has surgery. And y'all, if Trevor has surgery, I'll either do a short or I'll do a video in the Going the Distance show when it happens, and we'll talk about it. Anyway, the Eagles defeated the Cowboys 34-6. No surprise. It's really not a competition there this year. Dallas is just being just ridiculous this year. Anyway, the Lions defeated the Texans 26-23, and y'all, this was definitely a game to watch, because going into halftime, the Texans were ahead 23-7. The Lions scored 19 unanswered points to win that game. And they won by a field goal at the final second. Dan Campbell gets out there, and he's talking to the ref. Now, there was confusion. There was definite confusion on their part, because I think Dan said run it down to like 3 seconds, and then call the timeout. He called the timeout with 6 seconds, which is fine, because anything can happen. I mean, D'Amico Ryan could have caught a touch or caught a timeout, and who knows what would have happened. So I see where Dan's coming from, but the Lions are 8-1 right now, and like I said earlier, I think it could be the Lions and the Bills going to the Super Bowl if everything works right. Now, that's going to be hard for me because I like both teams. Even though I'm a Patriots fan, I like aspects of the other teams, most of the other teams. And, if that's the case, who do I pull for? Because I like them both. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. One score I need to talk about is the Steelers, Commanders, or Redskins, or Commanders game. The Steelers defeated the Redskins, Commanders, 28-27. Now, why do I bring that up? Because the Commanders play on Thursday night. And if you guys notice, a lot of the scores that I talk about to start out with have to do with, the Thursday night game, the Sunday night game. So, like Thursday night is Philadelphia and the Redskins. I've covered both of them. So, there's a rhyme to that. But anyway, to end out the week 10, the Dolphins defeated the Rams 23-15 in a very interesting game. We had fumbles, we had interceptions. Oh, that was something else about that Lions game. Jared Goff had 5 interceptions and they still won the game. But anyway, back to the Dolphins-Rams. There were interceptions, there were fumbles. It was just a sloppy game. And Tua was, everybody knows, in my opinion, Tua shouldn't even be playing. He ought to be retired right now. But anyway, the Dolphins defeated the Rams 23-15 to round out the week. So that was all for the scores, and I'm sorry I was a little all over the place with that. But moving on, we're going to move in to the Week 11 predictions. And we're starting out on Thursday night with the Redskins, Commanders, and the Eagles. So the Eagles are 7-2, and the Commanders are 7-3. I'm actually going to go with the Commanders in this game because I think the defense is going to be good. I just think, the Redskins are somebody to watch out for this year. I think Dan Quinn is really putting some good things in with the Redskins. So I've got the Redskins. Jaguars, Lions. Really? I've got the Lions. Vikings, Titans, Vikings. Raiders, Dolphins. They're playing in Miami, but I've got the Raiders. Rams at Patriots. As much as I hate to go against the Patriots, I think I've got the Rams this week. Even though both of them are going to be going in winners, I think the Rams are having a more complete team. And the Patriots are still in a rebuild year, and Drake May still needs to have that fire with him. Anyway, the Browns at the Saints. I've got the Saints. Colts, Jets. I've got the Colts in that one because the Jets lost bad to Arizona, like 36-3 over the weekend last week. But I've got the Colts over the Jets. Falcons, Broncos. I've got the Falcons. Seahawks, Niners. I actually have the Niners, and that's a division game. Here we go. 4:25 on CBS, y'all. Mark your calendars and tune in for this one because this is going to be a good one. It's going to be Chiefs at the Bills. Now, the Chiefs are going into this game 9-0. The Bills are going into this game 8-2. They both won last week. All the talk I've heard about is, and I believe this, when will the Chiefs lose their first game? Will they go undefeated? No, they will. The Chiefs will not go undefeated. Who will beat them this week? Really? Do I really have to say? The Bills are going to beat them this week. This is where the Chiefs lose the undefeated streak. The Bills defeat the Chiefs this week. I believe that with all my heart. The Bills defeat the Chiefs this week because there's got to be a crack somewhere. And if there's a crack, Buffalo will find it and will explore it. Because I can remember a few years ago, Pittsburgh went 11-0, and then the Redskins beat them. This year, the Chiefs are 9-0, and the Bills beat them. So you better believe I'll be tuning into that game, and I will be cheering Buffalo like you wouldn't believe. But anyway, moving on, we've got Packers Bears. I'm actually picking the Bears over the Packers in this one. Ravens Steelers, I've got the Ravens. And then Sunday night, we have the Bengals at the Chargers. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. Because, again, I like both teams. I like Herbert, and I'm a huge fan of both Herbert and Joe Burrow. I hate to do it, but I'm pulling I think I've got the Chargers in this game. Even though the Bengals need it more, I think the Chargers are going to do it this week. And then Monday night, we have the Texans at the Cowboys. And as much again as it pains me to say this, because I will have picked against my first and second teams this week. I think the Texans are going to overcome the Cowboys. And for the bye weeks, we have the Giants, the Cardinals, the Bucks, and the Panthers. Now, the Cardinals deserve this bye week because they played hard on Sunday against the Jets and defeated the Jets. And on that note, Kyler Murray for the Cardinals made Cardinals history by completing 17 completions against the Jets last week. And, of course, the Giants and Panthers deserve a bye week because they just got back from Germany. So, those are the predictions so far. Who do y'all think is going to win this week? Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Moving on, we had the championship race for the NASCAR. And this, y'all, is the last time I'm covering NASCAR because I see how fixed it is. I've known how fixed it is. But this year was just so blatant. I can't hide it. I can't hide my frustration with NASCAR. And I'm not going to sit around and watch something that's like this. I mean, I may check in on the Charlotte races, but that's it. That's only twice a year, so that's 2 races I might check in with. But that's it. Anyway. Wow. I'm really not surprised with who won the championship, but it's again, just as ridiculous as it can be. Joey Logano is a 3-time champion now. He won the race and he won the championship. Now, I call him Crybaby Logano because of the way he cried and complained after his wreck with Austin Dillon a month and a half ago, whenever it was. And I haven't let that go. And this is one reason I'm over NASCAR. Because Logano won the championship and had everything gone, the way it should have gone. Logano wouldn't have been in the... He was actually knocked out of the championship a few weeks ago. And then somebody gets disqualified and it puts Logano back in the race. Seems like a conspiracy to me for him to win the race. Just saying. Anyway, Crybaby Logano won the race in the championship. Blaney second, Byron third. The guy who should have won the championship, Kyle Larson, came in fourth. And Chase Elliott came in eighth. Now, even though Chase is my driver, Larson had a better season this season. He won 6 times and then got knocked out in the championship. in the Elite Eight. So, I mean, Larson should have been the champion this year, but they gave it to Logano, so that's that. So NASCAR season's over, and I'm glad to see it gone because it was kind of a wash of a season, and that's all I say about that. Anyway, we're going to move into who we're listening to this week. And who are we listening to this week? We're listening to Bastille. They're an indie pop band from London, England. They formed in 2010. I actually found out about them in 2014 with their song Pompi. Their debut album, Bad Blood, has Pompi on it. They have 5 studio albums, 33 singles, 33 music videos, no compilation albums, 1 live album. Actually, my favorite album is a toss-up between Bad Blood and Give Me the Future and Dreams of the Past. Now, Give Me the Future and Dreams of the Past is all one album, but it's a deluxe album. It's like Give Me the Future and Dreams of My Past were 2 separate albums. They just put it together all on one CD and made a 27 song CD. Now, that album was co-produced by Ryan Tedder, so you know that one's going to be good. And you know that's going to have a One Republic sound to it. And I love One Republic. So to listen to that album is just going to be great. So go check out Give Me the Future and Dreams of the Past and Bad Blood. And, check out Pompi and Quarter After Midnight. Those are my favorite songs from them. Pompi and Quarter After Midnight. So check those out. And to end today, I know I haven't done a lot of motivational stuff the past couple weeks, but I just want to say, I want to say stop using if and stop saying if and start saying when. So if I ever get to do this, if I ever get to do that, stop saying that and say when I do this, when I do that, when I'm able to go to this concert, when I'm able to go to this football stadium, when I'm able to, do this instead of if. Because if you say if, you're just hoping. If you say when, you're resonating it. You are bringing it to the forefront and saying, yes, I will be able to do this. Not if I do this one day. It's when I do this. And it's not when I'm able, it's when. So just start saying when and stop saying if. But that's about all I've got for this week. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'd love it if you hit the like button, subscribe to the page, hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode, and comment on the video and share the video with everybody because, I want to grow this community. So I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the week, and a great weekend. And we will be back next week with another episode. God bless.